Well, ladies, hello and welcome to another episode of Chats with Chelsea. I am stoked. Today I have award-winning actress Nhadya Salomon here with me. You know, some of you may know her as Mindy, as Dorothy, but she is here on Chats with Chelsea. So Nadia, welcome to Chats with Chelsea.
Thank you for having me, Chelsea.
I listen, I'm stoked. I remember when I sent you the message, and it's just little old me, and you're out there doing your thing with Spike Lee. You're on Showtime now. I just can't believe that I've known you for over a decade, and look at you now. So, first off, congratulations on everything that you've accomplished so far.
Thank you so much.
Um, let's just go ahead and dive in. And so when I could be off, but one of the big plays that I remember you in and you posting about a few years ago was A Raisin in the Sun. Tell us about that and just how you got into acting.
Yeah, so again, thanks for having me. I started with, I think Raising the Sun came about right after acting school. It was my first theatrical project. And I actually had a friend that was in the project who was lead, and he was like, I know you would be really great for that role. And it was actually one of my dream roles. I kind of write down
Wow.
my ideal roles I kind of want to have during my career. I write down sort of the, types of roles and specific roles as well. So that was one of them. Was Benita and Raising the Sun. So it was in Pennsylvania at a regional theater there. So I auditioned and I got the part. And it was awesome. Still one of my favorites for sure.
What
And how to get into acting. I'm sorry.
Well, with the Raisin in the Sun, when you auditioned, were you nervous? Was that your first big audition? I know you said that it was after acting school.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my first big. My first big one, I bombed, which you can totally talk about. It was bad, bad. But a raisin, no, I was really confident because I feel like I knew this character, and I was introduced to the play in high school, and I wanted to do it when I saw it in high school. I wanted to do it so bad. So I was just like, I know Benita. We parallel each other a lot in many ways. So I was ready, to be honest. So when you're like super prepared, it
Mm-hmm.
makes you less nervous. So that's a
Oh,
note for actors out there. Yeah, just be extra, extra prepared, right? So yeah, excuse me. So yeah, I did that and it was really awesome. Um, in terms of how I got into acting, I was like 11 or 12 when I started acting, primarily in like church plays. And then I started acting in by auditioning in school plays, for school plays.
hmm.
Um, and so then my mom was like, hey, there's these magnet programs. We still have to go to public schools because we can't afford private, but let's try to get you into one of these magnet programs. And then I was like, oh, there's a magnet programs for the arts. And so my mom was actually like, in my head, because I come from an immigrant family, I thought, I knew she would want me to go to college eventually for like a safe degree, if you will.
Yeah.
So I didn't think she would encourage acting, although I
Hmm.
did it outside a lot. But she was like, why don't you major in acting? That makes the most sense. I guess she was thinking it's just middle school and high school, right? You still get your academics. So I'm sure she didn't think I'll keep it going this far, right? So so yeah, that's what I did. I went to La Villa for acting, which is a middle school in Jacksonville, Florida, and then I went to Douglas Anderson, auditioned for that school, and went there for acting as well. So that's kind of how it all started.
And then I know you through your sister Tabitha, and she
Yeah,
and I went to school together for several years. And
yeah.
so it's just so amazing to see where you are today. So
Oh.
you were sharing you're from an immigrant family, you're Haitian American, you're bilingual. What was that journey like when you were in the magnet programs and growing up there in Jacksonville?
Um, in terms of my household, our like most immigrant families, I would think, or I that I know, they really prize education. So that was a really huge deal for in our household. We had to be on the honor roll. We were strongly encouraged to. I don't want to say had to. And she just, in Haiti, unfortunately, they have to pay for their education, and a lot of
Mm,
other foreign countries. And so we were taught very early on not to take that for granted. And
yeah.
so that's what allowed us to do really well and excel in school. And then in addition to that, in terms of college, I got scholarships because I did so good in school. And so I pretty much didn't have to pay for college. So we just always worked our butts off in any career, any field that we've been in, because we just learned strong work ethic from a young age.
I think that's something powerful that you said there that can encourage so many people, at least put some fire under a few people, is the fact that here in America, our education, K through 12, we don't have to pay for that, and I think so many of us take that for granted.
Right.
In terms of applying ourselves and being all that we're called to be. So that is extremely powerful. Okay, so A Raisin in the Sun. I know we've jumped around a little bit. And then next thing I know, Orange is the New Black, and you are Dorothy. Tell us about that journey.
Yeah. So what's really interesting? I think that and there's no insult, obviously. It's just how the world we all think. It's like when we see an actor on TV, we're like, oh, they're a new actor. Look, I've never seen them before, but they've been grinding for like 20 years to get that one role. And so between Raisin and Orange, I continue to book projects, a lot of independent projects,
Okay.
and a lot of some theater here in New York as well, where I live. So I think Orange was more so my first big like award-winning show that's on a television screen, if you will. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why that was kind of highly publicized, if you will, and applauded. I think that's a better word.
Okay.
But yeah, it was still very exciting because Orange was another show that was on my vision board.
Wow.
So, yeah,
okay.
And that was on my vision board for 3 years. So
3 years.
Yeah, it was 3 years, and it still gets me like emotional thinking about it, because it's crazy, like the power of like writing stuff down and praying on it and then believing that to happen. I'm huge on that. So yeah, I was really fortunate for that to happen. I loved it the first time I saw the show. My sister introduced me to the show, actually. I think I was in acting school, and we saw one of the main characters on the train when she came to visit me, Tasty, the girl who plays Tasty on the show. And I hadn't seen the show, and I saw my sister like lit up. She was like, oh, I love her. I love this show. Oh my God. I'm like, girl, chill out, right? I'm going to ask for a picture. I'm like, Dad, we don't ask for pictures in New York. Like, I'm totally telling, like, don't do that. Like, we don't ask. But then she tapped. She was like, I love your character. I love you so much. Like, she tapped her, and she was really sweet about it. But I guess to see how she's just like lit up like that, I'm like, I got to check out this show.
Sure, absolutely.
What's so amazing about this thing? And it was so great the first time I watched it. So yeah, so I think I immediately put it, and I knew I could do some great things on the show too. So yeah, I immediately put it on my vision board probably by the 3rd episode or something. I'm like, I gotta be on the show. Yeah, so that came about just like every other role, just go in, audition, and the audition story was crazy too, though.
Tell us.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'll tell y'all the real. So I went to the audition, and some auditions more than others, I put more pressure on myself.
Okay.
And this particular one, because it's been on my vision board for so long, I had some sort of anxiety or something. It was like mentally, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my opportunity to be on the show I've been wanting to be on for so long. And so I was nervous. And I think I've learned to control my nerves in most situations, but it's all about how you talk to yourself, right? And so I was just talking to myself in a very like anxious way. So when I got to the audition, I did it. It was mediocre. It wasn't good. I didn't even get through it all. And thank God for this casting director. Thank you for not kind casting directors. I want to shout out really kind casting directors in the world who need you. Her name's SJ, is what she goes by. And I was just like, I don't know, after the first line or 2 lines, I was like, I'm sorry, can I do that over? Which you really should avoid doing as an actor, right? And she just like, hey, this isn't a big deal. It's no big deal. Literally, she was like talking me down because you can tell. And she's like, I know auditions suck and we can get anxious, but this is not even a big deal, girl. I'm like, you're right. That's not a big deal.
Y'all having sister girl talk in the audition.
We were. And like, how blessed was I to have her? And so then I quickly like dropped down my body. Something I learned in acting school. Again, actors, I'm not suggesting that you do this. I just did what was good for me, and I knew she was in my corner. So I was like, dropped down, did a little get the scary bugs out, and then I did it over, and then it was fine. And then I left.
Clearly, because you got the part.
Right. And it was good. When I left, I still cried, and I never cried auditions after auditions. I'm like, I know this business, like you hear, you lose, but I actually cried over this one, and I remember calling a friend and just being like, I can't be in this business if I can't audition. Like, I can't believe I just let so much anxiety and like nervousness get over me. Like, I can't do this business if this is what's going to happen. And they're like, calm down. Why? We can't like take any of this seriously. It's a part of the game. I'm like, no, but this is like embarrassing. I just embarrassed myself, right? And then a week later, or 2 days later, they're like, yeah, I want to offer you the role. And I was just like,
oh my,
what? Yeah, so that's the story behind that. Like, you think you messed up, but you didn't. So don't beat yourself up, I guess is the moral of the story.
I think it's an awesome story, though, because, when we think about, and I'm always talking about like social media, and just one of the things that's so important to me in these conversations is that just for authenticity and transparency, because we see for whoever the person is, the woman is, and it's like they're on top of the world, but you really don't know their journey or what got them there. And it's like, yeah. I love that story that you just shared with us, Nhadya, because it's like perfection isn't what got you the role, right?
No.
It was you being real and being able to show all of who you were. And so, I think that's amazing. One of the things that you had mentioned earlier is that, that there was a time period between A Raisin in the Sun and Orange is the New Black. And you did a lot of independent things. Was that a difficult time? What was that time like? I mean, were you in search of, a show a more plotted show, or were you just cool with the independent films and shows?
I would say a mix of both, right? Because as an actor, I just want to do good projects and good work. And so I was still fortunate to find some really good work. I wanted to do a faith-based film, for example, for a long time, and I was able to be a lead in one. And it's on Amazon Prime right now, so it's doing good, right?
Tell us the name.
30-Day Promise. 30-Day Promise, and I play a vixen and the bad guy in it, but it was so fun. So I did that, and then there's some other independent things that are still haven't come out yet, because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but they were still artistically fulfilling. Okay. So that matters to me as well. But obviously, making money in this business matters, and taking care of your bills matters. So that part of it was just like, that part of it was kind of frustrating. And not only that, but I did want the next step of it. And not saying independent isn't underneath it. It's just a lot of times when a show's more highly publicized like that, you just have greater opportunities to have more opportunities, more shows. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, I was wanting something bigger. And what's interesting is during that period, which I never posted about, right? You never know about these things, but I was up for maybe 3 different times. It was out of me and one other person, and I didn't get it. It was the year before, like my last year, which was a great year for me. I was like, here it goes. They're like, all right, we got you on hold, is what they call it when it's out of you and one person, or your pin. Okay. Or they'll tell me it's out of you and one girl. And then didn't get it. It happened like 2 or 3 times. One was for Marvel. Who doesn't want to be on Marvel as an actor? One was for like, I don't know if I can say their names, but something on CBS. So these were like great opportunities too that would open doors. And I'm like, it got really frustrating at one point. I'm like, why, God? Why am I getting so close and not cross? Like, what's happening here? Is this like a tease this year? So like Orange, I got that at the beginning of that year, like January, and then the next thing just started rolling in. So yeah, it was very interesting dynamics the year before of like being so close, and then the next year booking, getting it. It was very interesting.
What kept you grounded? I mean, you asked God why, and that's a question many of us ask. I mean, I ask it, God, why? Why is this happening, or why hasn't this happening? What kept you?
I think getting closer to God in times like that is helpful, actually, because God starts just revealing other things to me. Mm-hmm. And the things that he helped reveal to me got my anxiety more under control, no matter the circumstance now.
That's good.
was nervousness even. Like, it got that more under control because what happened was, actually probably the top of the year, um, you know, unfortunately, Haiti's very close to me, my heart, and unfortunately, Americans' perceptions of Haiti is like whatever you see on the media. It's very limited, or what a political person derogatory statement they may have said, and so it's so limited, right? And so I made it kind of like, okay, acting's what you do. When I knew my purpose, but it wasn't as specific. But when I tapped into my purpose in more of a specific manner, things started opening for me. So now when I'm in a room with like legends like Spike Lee or whoever, I just I get, that's what humbles me. I'm like, my purpose is bigger than Spike. My purpose is bigger. And so I love you, Spike. My purpose, it really is. I told this story to stuff with people like, sometimes I needed that negativity, if you will, to be like, all right, I'll show you what Haitians do, you know, or this is my opportunity to kind of be a light in this situation, or this like very limited viewpoint, if you will. So that really shifted it for me.
I love all of that. Like,
yeah, it's true. That's exactly what happened. I was like, okay, let's go. I'm so mad. I mean, you gotta get mad at something, y'all. Get mad at something.
I mean, but who wouldn't get mad, you know, and be like, just like, Lord, what's going on, when you have those different opportunities? Yet here's the positive in it. Not only did it draw you closer to God, it taught you more about yourself. But here's the other thing, Nhadya, that I'm sure you know, but I just want to remind the folks who will be watching this, is that you were one of two for these roles. And so it just speaks to your skills and your talent.
Like, no, I appreciate that.
You know, I mean, I think I don't know anybody else who's been,
no, it's awesome. It is awesome. And that's also what kept me grounded too. I'm like, look how close I am. I used to talk to my sister about it. I was like, what does this mean that I'm so close? She was like, I guess that means you're up next because you're so close. That means it has to be next, right? I'm like, that's what I would think, right? Like, so just talking myself into like why this is happening in a positive manner, I think helped. And then tapping into my purpose in a greater way too, I think, yeah.
That is so phenomenal. Okay, so let's move on. And there may be some things in between, so you tell me. But the next thing I'm aware of is Spike Lee, She's Gotta Have It Too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So, because so auditioning for Spike's show, I don't even know, what do you want to know? Like, how much juice do you want to know?
We want all the juice. I mean, we want the juice because we want to know what it's really. You're my Hollywood star this season, so I want to know, like, what's the juice. And then truly though, I want you to be able just to really speak to the young ladies who are watching who want to be in Hollywood.
Right. So with Spike Lee's audition, I was asked to come in that day to audition, which has never happened to me. Okay. But I knew it could happen. So they're like, hey, they called my agent, was like, hey, we want her to come in now. So I literally ran to FedEx, printed them out. I like to get with a friend to run through lines, and I help him with his as well. So I just called him. I was like, well, I don't have time to come over. So we just called. We talked about it so minimally. Like, it was not much at all. So it was really, I was like, this is all on me. But he was like, you know this character, this is you. So yeah, the character had a bit of like ratchetness in her. I've seen plenty of that in Jacksonville, Florida. No, I have ratchetness in me, so no insult. So yeah, I was like, oh, I know this girl. Like, we can do this. So I went to, just kind of reviewed it as much as possible on the train, and then met his casting director. Took some risk, if you will, which I always encourage actors to do in every audition. Do something that's like risk taking, and then left, and then got a call back. When I got a call back, it was only Spike in the room and like a cameraman. Yeah, so that was interesting. But I was warned though. My agent said she thinks Spike's gonna be there. So I went there. It was super cool. I love Spike. I think his personality is very much like, when he's in actor's mode, directing mode, he's like business. He can be tough on you. Well, he's not. He's like such a sweet guy. Like, he treats me like a flower. Like, he's so nice to me. He really does. Sometimes I'm like, do you think I'm a baby? Is that why you give me a flower? But it's fine. So yeah, I went in there with him. He made me do it over, y'all, like 3 or 4 times. So
Why?
I thought he hated me again because he was just like, I came up with some creative stuff. So I'm
Okay.
like, boy, don't act like this is you coming up with this. So he's like, yeah, I want you to do that again. But I need you to do this step and then do this step, new step of something I came up with in the first place, by the way. So then I'm like, all right, so I did it. He's like, no, cut, no, no, no. And I'm like, I need you to do this. I'm like, oh, okay. Did it? No, stop the camera. So let's run that back. I need you to do this. I need you to milk it. Can you milk it? I'm like, yeah. I didn't understand what you. I got it. I got you, right? Because I really didn't understand what he was like asking for. So I did it, and then he's like, and he's laughed so hard at it. And I was like, oh, okay, so you like it. And then I was like, man, you're silly. And that was kind of like the end of it.
You told Spike he's silly?
I did, but he was very silly. And then he just kept laughing, and then and that was it. But I felt personal, like I felt like he was personable again until director's mode. So yeah, and I do that too in my head. I treat whoever, casting directors, whoever, I kind of try to treat them, which is a good acting book. A friend of mine referred me to. I don't remember the acting book's name. I'm sorry, y'all, but it talked about treating casting directors and directors like your 30-year-old friend. Like they've been your friend for 30 years old, because it's supposed to like help your nerves a bit more. So sometimes, depending on who it is, like I try to bring that in. So I'm like, I would tell my homeboy, and he's silly if he's acting silly. So right. So I'm like,
okay.
right, you mad silly. So yeah, that's kind of that story. And yeah, I got that role. And it almost conflicted with another role that you may mention too that I got, but so that was the scary part, but we figured it out.
You figured it out, and so after Spike Lee, so now it's Showtime? Tell us.
Showtime.
Yes.
So,
tell
so
us.
I booked probably Showtime right before Spike, and then so that was a conflict. So Spike was like, I'm gonna need you to be on set these days, and it was like just 2 days of filming. But Showtime's like, we're gonna need you one of those days, so you can't do Spike. And I was like, my manager was like, there's a chance that this is how this business works, Nadia. I was like, no, I want to do both.
Right.
And she was like, no, that's how this business works. It's gonna be chances where things are gonna overlap. It's gonna be times like that. And so I don't know. I pray. I don't know. Remember praying. So I prayed so hard. Like I was like, please God, let me find a way for me to do both. So went to Spike. Was like, is there any way we can move my day? He's like, no. People like, we'll get somebody else. We'll get our next person. Like, that's the business, right? So they went to Showtime, and they were like, this is a conflict, blah, blah, blah. So then the creator of the show emailed me directly. She was like, Nadia, please tell me you can do the show still, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I hope so. But she had priority, honestly, so I couldn't let her go. But I appreciated her feeling like there was a chance I would leave. So she just like, we'll make it work. So they literally switched the set dates for me, which I'm so grateful for. They literally, like, who does that? It's like 100 people on set. Like, that was such a blessing. So, and they knew it was Spike. So, I mean, no one wants to say no to Spike Lee. So yeah, that's what happened.
How would you describe? I mean, so we've talked about some of the, we talked about the player Raising the Sun, and just kind of hit on some of the bigger parts that you've had so far in your career. I mean, how would you describe your career to someone else?
Oh my gosh, I usually just say like, hey, I started off when I moved to New York, I was in corporate America. I started off there actually after college. I continued doing acting in college, but I majored in management at the University of Florida. And so because my mom then, and by college time, she's like, I want a major that's safe, not blah, blah. And so, we're very much want to please our parents too. I mean, let's be honest. So I did that. And, but I continued acting outside of that. And she still saw my plays, supported them. So I still had that balance, if you will. So after college, I jumped into corporate America. Amazing job, made great money. Money that you'd be like, why would you leave to like potentially go broke for some years, right? So it was awesome, but I was so miserable. I was low key depressed, not low key. I was depressed. I got depressed. Just the politics in corporate America that was happening in that job was really tough. And so when I left, I applied to a few acting schools. I did some research. When I knew I was about to leave, right? Like I don't know, within that last year, and then yeah, and then I chose the conservatory I went to, and it was life changing. It was so good. And so yeah, I went to that conservatory. Then when I graduated, I'd say that I definitely did more theater. Started off in more theater, and then gradually got into TV film. So yeah, I did a couple TV things like on the ID channel, like in
Okay.
between, but it was primarily theater.
Did you think it would take you this long to make it to the TV screen, to the big TV?
I thought it would take longer.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I thought because when I got out of acting school, the auditions I got, I was so shocked. Because I had heard from everyone, don't expect when you graduate to get these types of auditions. It's okay if you don't, blah blah. And I knew everyone wasn't getting those opportunities, and it's fine. Like you're not. I hear you're not supposed to right out of school, right? So I had some stuff on my resume, but nothing really television wise, really. So I don't know, just fortunate. And when the first, and I think that's why I bombed too, because I was so shocked. So probably my first two auditions out of acting school was for a film opposite Taraji P. Henson in a film. I bombed it so bad. Like when I say so bad, and my sister was visiting me that summer. I went home. I promise you, I don't cry for every audition. I promise. It's probably the only one. But I cried at the audition, and I went home. I was like, I can't do this business. And this was like, I don't know. This was right after acting school. So this was 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I was like, I can't, how am I supposed to be in this business? I can't audition. Like, I bombed. Like, it was so bad. I don't know what I did. I think I lost my line. I had to like, hold on. Like, it was so, like, when I say it was like a nightmare, I had to be like, wait, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Literally looking for my line for a good, not trying not to exaggerate here, a good 20 to 30 seconds. Imagine 20 seconds if somebody's going, like, it was so bad. And it was like 9 or 10 people watching me in the room too, because it's a movie for Taraji, right?
Right.
So yeah, I have my stories. So yeah, my sister was like, seriously, you're gonna give up this career over one audition? You know, just like,
that's true though.
and I was like, but you don't understand. How am I supposed to do it if I can't? You have to know how to audition. Like, that's the whole point of it. That's the part of the game, unfortunately. Like, I wish they would be like, oh yeah, we know you're good. Like, come on, like, okay. But that's not how it works. So yeah, I don't remember the question, but
it's okay.
That brings me back. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's okay. I mean, I'm learning. I'm enjoying. So your career has been phenomenal. You have, you have achieved more than you thought you would have achieved in these short 4 years. So I'm excited to see what's ahead and what God has for you. So let's talk about using your why and how you have used that to propel your career.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on that a bit actually when I said, when someone's like, man, this last year was so like a breakout year for you, like what happened? And I was like, I tapped into my purpose. And your purpose is essentially your why. So I want to like just encourage viewers to do that, right? Find out what gets you going in the morning. Who are you doing? Whatever career you're in, who outside of yourself, what outside of yourself, bigger than you, can propel you to do bigger and better things. So that when nerves come up, that when criticism comes up, ridicule. There's plenty of bullies. I'm sure there's someone that's like saying something mean about my work somewhere. I don't know. I try not to look at any of that kind of thing, but to have you're like, my purpose is so much bigger than that stuff. It doesn't even matter. And I'm not gonna front like it doesn't even matter. That's such a strong word, right? I think I'm super sensitive, and I think that's what makes me a good actor. But in life, it's tough sometimes. So I know that there are things that could potentially really hurt my feelings. But again, it's kind of like rearranging your brain again, if you will, or your focus, excuse me, and saying, okay, but what is all this for in the first place? It's bigger than this. It's bigger than criticism. It's bigger than, meeting celebrities, or, being intimidated by a celebrity in a room, um, a director in the room. So yeah, for me, that was like, for me, in college, I started a nonprofit called Hope for Haiti. I'm not over it anymore, but, that's always been on my heart. I've always done outreach things in Haiti, and I volunteer now with immigrant kids. And so that's always been something been very close to. And so for me, hearing, I already knew the media doesn't always show every, positive thing about Haiti or Haitians in general. But for me, even hearing, the negative things that I heard last year from such, quote, respected leaders or leaders of this country, it really made me tap into that why in a more specific way for me. Just so that I'm like, okay, this is bigger than me. This is for future Haitian, this is for our Haitian children. These are for immigrant kids. These are for kids in general who are from low income backgrounds like I'm from. To know that, all things are possible, no matter, so for me, that was my why. What's bigger than you, right? And my family is also a big part of my why as well. They inspire me every day. So that's another big part of my why. But yeah, so a why for someone else may be, oh, my mom didn't. And the actor actually hit me up 2 days ago, and he was just like, can you give me any advice at all, blah, 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 because he's in school. And exactly what I said to him. I was like, what's your why? Because like, it could be, that was the example I gave him. It's like, hey, it could be your mom didn't get a chance to achieve her dreams. So every time I walk into a room, I'm doing it for my mom, who didn't have that opportunity or didn't take on the opportunity because she was so busy raising us. So yeah, that is a huge message I would like to kind of pass along there.
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
For not only for sharing that message, but your journey continuing to be one that is an example of the message that you are sharing to the world. And so, and literally to the world through your talents, and then, even in the rooms that you're in, I think it speaks to the fact that, and you were sharing a little bit about it earlier, just sticking to your why, no matter who you're in the room with or what that celebrity is, staying grounded. What can you tell us about your future projects? What we can expect from you? What's going on? What's the tea?
So, future wise, I'm getting into more writing
Okay.
myself. I'm really interested in like producing and writing and creating some stuff on my own. So,
Wow.
yeah, so I'm just tapping into as much as that, getting inspired by everyone, everything in my life. I think I want to write something with, or I am writing a lot of things involving comedy. Interestingly enough, I booked like all comedic things pretty much this last year, like Orange is the New Black, which is a dramedy, right? Comedy. My character was a comedic character, and she's got to have it. And then SMILF is what it's called on Showtime, that show, and that's a comedy. So I'm really falling, and it's so interesting because I thought I was going to be this dramatic actress, and I was told I would be too,
Yeah.
my teachers, and so, well, my teachers said I could do both, but then mentors were like, "Oh, I see more drama." It just, I just encourage people to just go with the flow. Don't stick with anything. Take everything with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I think that's kind of more so. And then I'm doing a lot of press and stuff like that for Showtime right now.
So writing, producing, that's next. You talked about your why. You told us these amazing stories, and walked us through your journey thus far of where you are, Nhadya. What will be your final words as we close out to young women who want to be in Hollywood?
Uh, get good training, good acting training. Really tap into your reason of why you want to be in this business. Really love it because there's going to be some really low days and some really high days. So really just fall in love with the craft of acting and all that it comes with first. Just learn to fall in love with that.
And for those who want to keep up with you outside of seeing you on their TV screens, how can they follow you, Nhadya?
Yeah, my first and last name on pretty much every social media platform. So my name's spelled a little funky, but it's Nhadya, and my last name is Solomon, Salomon, and that's everywhere. Same thing, Nhadya Salomon.
Everywhere, and you have a
Yeah.
website.
Same thing. Yep, NhadyaSalomon.com.
Well, Nhadya, I have enjoyed catching up with you, learning more about your journey. And so thank you so much for joining me here today on Chats with Chelsi.
Thank you so much for having me. This is fun. Because I get
This
nervous about these sort of things, girl. But this is fun. I appreciate it.
this is awesome. Well, ladies, be sure you follow Nhadya. You make sure you are watching her on the big screen. Go catch up on some of her past work as well and get ready for the amazing things she's going to do, because she's going to be bringing some more things to your TV screens and to theaters nearby. So, ladies, have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you for the next Chats with Chelsi.